Why, hello there. Alright, so, testing, initial checks. Everything good? We are the correct game?
We do have the correct game. Yes, we do. And
Perfect.
the tags seem correct, and the game capture seems appropriate.
Perfect.
I have not tried the sound because, we're live, so
Yeah, I got
check
you.
it.
Yeah, you can't really check the sound. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. So, welcome everyone to another stream from the Holo Tesseract, brought to you by yours truly, Revan, and my co-host, Quasar.
Technically, his name is Phantom Revan, but he asked us to call him Revan because of some unknown reason we might come back to in our multiverse.
It's really not that deep. A cigar is just a cigar. Revan's easier, shorter. But yeah.
Sure, that's exactly why.
Last night, we finally finished, in a long, unexpected, close to a 5-hour stream, we finished Coteries of New York.
We just kept going until the very end, and then after that, we had a post-commentary for like 20 minutes straight.
Yep.
With me just going, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. And to sum up what happened in Coteries of New York, basically our character Lila, she finds out her patron, Sophie, was trying to meet up with the Anarch Baron to overthrow, she finds out, to overthrow another Anarch Baron, and they find out that Anarch Baron, Callahan, is bloodbound to Prince Helen Panhard, the Prince of the Camarilla.
Spoilers. Okay, major spoilers alert. If anyone here is watching this and does not know anything about the Connie series, which is the Coteries of New York series, I recommend go and check out our playlist. It's available on our YouTube as well. It's all uploaded. Oh yeah,
this is
please watch that.
Our streams. Watch this. Our streams are always spoiler heavy. Like, it should kind of be obvious, guys. We're playing
huge
RPGs.
Spoilers. Of course. I mean, we're doing it part by part, so we will be recapping everything as we go part by part as well. So. We just want you to make sure that if you do want to see it without any context and like actually face the twists as we did and see it kind of as we did, kind of alongside us, then I would recommend watch the previous playlist and then come here, or you can just stay here. That's fine too. Welcome.
And the other thing, so after that, we find out Helen Panhard is bloodbound to a man named Thomas Arturo, who we ran into a couple of times. And he was the mysterious figure at the beginning of the game, talking about fate and destiny, and he's the one who manipulated everything, and then Sophie gets killed, and we find out you're just a pawn. In the end, nothing you did really mattered, you're just a pawn in the end, but you were resourceful, so Thomas offers you his blood, and it's implied you drink from it, and you become bloodbound to him, and a direct pawn to him. And that's the end.
Yep.
And a lot of people... Go ahead.
The thing is that in the Coteries of New York, when we first went into it, right? For me, who never played the game before, it was just like, okay, so I want to build these connections. I want to make, I want to ultimately get to this thing. And my goal for Layla was just like, okay, I want to climb the ranks as soon as possible, and I want to be, ultimately someone who's very powerful within the society. Thing is, I kind of got what I wished for. Yeah, I got what I wished for, but in the worst way possible, because now I'm basically enthralled to another person. I'm basically I'm subservient to this other person who was controlling and everything.
Yep.
From the very beginning.
And that is a very typical VTM storyline generally. I know a few people who played this. This was their first exposure. They did not like the ending. And it's kind of the whole point. VTM, you're just a pawn. You either survive or you give up your morals. You give up your morals in order to survive, or you die. Like my first VTM tabletop session, half our characters died. My character survived, but half my party died because my Nosferatu refused to drink the blood of an elder vampire who wanted me to be bloodbound to her, and then my coterie member, a Ventru named Alexandria, said, no, fuck that. And she then we got into a fight, and she then tackled this vampire elder off a 50-foot Wells Fargo tower, plummeting to their death. And then we got attacked by werewolves, and then as we escaped, another one of my coterie members died, and then I was the lone survivor. And there was one other coterie member, but she wasn't a part of that event. She was doing something else at the time. Her character was doing something else, and then the whole thing, it was basically a party kill, because the story was just...
It was a TPK. It was a complete TPK.
It wasn't a complete TPK, but we treated it as such.
TPK. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, not really half TPK. Like, we could have continued. We could have continued. The two players, they could have rolled new characters and continued the storyline, but they decided that, you know, we took a vote whether we want to start fresh or start new. And most of the people decided, you know what, like, we like the way this ended, let's start fresh, and we rolled new characters. So yeah, that's kind of what happens. And our DM even said he was surprised that we took this fight. He thought one of us would, you know, he thought Alexandria the Ventru would force my character to drink the blood. And we all said, but our touchstones are convictions. And he's like, yeah, the whole point is to break those touchstones and convictions. Guys, it's VTM, not Dungeons and Dragons. So, yeah.
I mean, technically, I was bound, or I had a boon, right, for, what's his face? The evil, Callahan. Yeah, exactly. I had to
Callahan
obey
evil.
him.
I wouldn't call him evil.
Well, okay, fine. Opportunistic. Happy?
I would call him oppressive.
I mean,
I'd call him kind of an asshole, but he's not. I wouldn't necessarily call him evil.
By Torque's words, he's an opportunistic asshole.
That's Torque.
By Torque's
That's Torque's viewpoint. Yeah.
Yes,
but he's not evil.
But I mean, okay. Anyways, what I was trying to say was, I had a boon, with him where, like, if I
owed him a boon. You owed him a boon.
Yeah, I owed him a boon, where, like, which basically means that I because he, quote unquote, spared my life even though he fucking kidnapped me, he didn't kill me, so that means I had to owe him something. What I had to owe him was...
That's not necessarily how boons work. It's not always like a matter of life and death. If a vampire... Like, boons are just...
currency.
It's a currency. But in this case...
Yeah, you said that before.
He feels you owe him, and, like... You know, because he let you go in this case.
I'm like completely being sarcastic right now when I'm like, he feels that I owe him. Yeah, after kidnapping me and like threatening to kill me, he's basically a kidnapper who's like, give me this much money because I let you live, even though I'm the one that kidnapped you and put you in.
I know you're being sarcastic, but it's more so he saw how resourceful you are and that you can be useful. Why kill something which can be useful? And that's the thing with vampires. With humans. Like a human, if Callahan was a human, he would have killed you, and you were a human, he would have killed you right then and there. But vampires realize, wow, this person is resourceful, I can use them. Why kill something that can be useful? So, which you could say which you can argue is worse than death, a fate worse than death in a way.
Vampires basically run on manipulation in VTM.
Yeah, and there's a term, this whole game that they play, there's a term for it in the VTM lore, I believe. And it's called the Eternal Jihad. The struggle. Yeah, that is literally what they call it.
That's hilarious. the eternal fights?
Struggle. I would translate that as struggle. Yeah.
Alright, the eternal struggle. That's hilarious.
Now, before we can go on and on about coteries.
The VTM world.
Yeah, let's take it away. Let's start. Now,
yeah, let's dive into this new game.
Unlike last coteries, you do not get to choose a character of your choosing. You play as a set character. However, unlike coteries, there are two endings. And I'll just tell you now, Quasar, literally, this is all I'm going to say about the endings. One is called the good ending, the other one is called the bad ending. But the names are not quite what they seem. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you.
Is it based on perspective, perhaps?
Kind of.
Like, what is good to who and what is bad to who?
Kind of, yes. And I'm not gonna, that's all I'm going to say. Two endings. We'll see which one you end up with. And as for how to get them, I am not going to tell you a single thing. You will
Sounds good.
All right, let's go into it.
All right. So I will be playing the main character named Julie, I believe.
Okay. And this is in first-person narration, so you're going to do all the narrating for this.
Okay. But like the female characters, am I still doing that while you do the male ones? Is that still happening?
Yeah. I'll still do the male characters, obviously, but in this game, since it's not a third-person narrator, this is a first-person narration. You are going to do every single narration here, so go ahead.
Okay, but how is Julie as a person? What kind of personality does she give off?
Oh, I see. Julie is a rebellious. You've seen the picture of her. She's a very rebellious, punk. She dresses punk. She's kind of into punk, and she's a very rebellious, outspoken, short in stature individual. If that makes sense.
So basically me, but like cooler.
Yeah,
Awesome.
much cooler. Yeah.
Much. Thank you for that. Very, very wholesome review. I appreciate that. All right.
Take it away.
I guess I'll make her voice slightly lower, more
Calm.
serious.
More serious.
Yeah, more calm.
Yeah.
Calm.
Not very
as hyper as I
upbeat.
am.
Not upbeat whatsoever. Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Welcome to my castle.
That's good. I like that.
Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out of the windows sometime after midnight, maybe earlier.
So do a little bit of a more You ever watch Jessica Jones?
No, but I know what you're referring to. Yeah, I know what show you're referring to. Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
Seen it.
I literally imagine Julie to have the voice of that actress who plays Jessica Jones. She's very she's cold. She's cold, outspoken, and also kind of sarcastic. So I would kind of read this in a tone like, "Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out of the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier." Kind of like you see like a little bit of a cynical,
vibe. I'm
cynical.
getting a D'Angelo vibe.
Not a D'Angelo. Cynical.
No, but the narration, it sounds very much like like one of those detective shows, like that kind of thing.
She is an investigative journalist, so
yeah, true.
But so yeah, go for like a cool voice with a cynical tone. You're basically Julie is a very cynical person.
Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out of the window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier.
That's good.
My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. I've tried to identify with the way people reach it, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon. But some say the moon's aura can turn them insane. You've heard the phrases, moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal permission to reveal their true selves. And so, whenever they let the silver radiance guide them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. Dance of horrors and marvels begins. It's 3:31 a.m. Welcome to Beat Burger.
Big Beat Burger.
Welcome to Big Beat Burger. Triple B. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly readying up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gather around, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwind after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, greedily reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea that they are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've been coming here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'd never otherwise have gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill set to make ends meet as a journalist. As I write on my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I keep my senses peeled to pick up stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events, such as food fights, are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to become collateral damage in someone else's battle. Up to this day, I've had to wash my clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, hot coffee, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting. Sometimes it's disturbing. Sometimes it's dangerous. Although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. Still, the sites I've taken over these years have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories, I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breakups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battle. A lady in a gorgeous Givenchy dress ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying in cash with her hands completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wants a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going for it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around valiantly fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy.
Normalcy.
Oh. Well, normalcy, whatever, same shit. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him, seemed proud of his victory too. A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let the Muslims near her food just because she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. That's hilarious. Oh my god.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Like, as someone who is of faith of something, that's who
A faith of something.
I mean, I don't want to reveal too much about myself here, but
That's
yeah,
fair.
like that's a very ignorant way of looking at things.
And stuff like that does happen, as you can see on
It does. It very much
random
does.
videos
Yeah.
that go viral.
Exactly. Okay. A couple of masked.
Oh, also,
a couple of
real
masked.
quick, there's gonna be. So what I just realized is because it's first-person narration,
Yeah.
there's gonna be some scenes where it's literally she's just talking to all
To
girls,
herself.
and you're basically just gonna be reading everything. So if you want, I can take over. If you want, I can take over the narration. Because these are all thoughts in her head, and sometimes thoughts in your head you can read them in any voice, whatever, right? But the dialogue, that will always be you. But yeah, I'll see what the scene, depending on the scene. If it's a scene where she's interacting with basically another girl, I'll take over the narration, because otherwise, you're gonna get super tired.
Okay, yeah, I actually think our dynamic from last time was actually pretty good.
Okay.
So I think we should keep maintaining that. We
Sure.
can just, like, if there's a lot of guys, I'll do the voiceover.
Yeah, obviously.
For the narration.
Yeah. But I'm just telling you,
girls,
because she's the girl, this main character, Julie, she's a girl, there is going to be a lot of scenes. In fact, majority of the scenes, she's interacting with another girl. There's a few where she's interacting with a guy. And so, yeah, I'll take over some of those narration. Otherwise, you're just basically going to be talking to yourself.
And, like, I do want to give you some, it's like, this is supposed to be a duo stream where, like, we both contribute, right? So I would
I don't
mind.
I don't mind if you want to read everything, but I just know that.
Oh no!
I know you're gonna get tired.
What I'm saying is,
you're gonna get tired.
Yeah, no, I want you to read stuff with me, so that, like,
sure.
I know you're already engaged because you love the story, but, like, I also want you to participate, so that they can hear you, because they're not just here for me; they're here for you too. Right, guys? Yeah. Anyways,
all right.
A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing the employees to cook at gunpoint. The police later said that those were art students reenacting some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves as the foundation for my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... as pathetic
you want me
as
to
it
do the
sound.
narration here, because she's gonna, like, talk back and forth. Basically, this scene is basically her monologuing in her head, and then yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Take it over.
As pathetic as it may sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think of myself as a leech, feeding on these people's stories, emotions, and personalities, just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times I think of my psyche as some kind of shitty postmodern construct that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only yearns for something felt, truthful. Does this even make any sense? I look at the screen of my laptop, 3:47 a.m. At this point, I'm almost somnambulic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. It feels like all the customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for the others to provide a fun diversion. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time go find your own. I think it's time to call it a night. The coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out is undrinkable. Ugh. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the last 6 hours.
God damn, this is pure trash.
I hold the backspace button until the Google Documents page is nothing but a calm white slate, and let out a sound of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrated writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than the dumb bitch who used to be 10 minutes ago? I check the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m., and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level despite, 4 hours of sleep. It's because I always have a hunch things are not going the way they're supposed to. Alright, take over.
Click, clack, click, click, clack. The loud clatter of keyboards assaults me from all sides. Makes the splitting headache unbearable. Used to be, I dreamed of nothing else but being a part of the New York Lodestar editorial team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly, the first magazine I ever bought for myself. Now simply hearing the words Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns and Wikipedia-level analyses of current events. Click, clack, click, click, clack. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped my thinking about politics, art, journalism. They even pointed me towards my favorite cigarette brand, for God's sakes. And then some talented people started leaving for greener pastures, some got wrapped up in their own neurosis, and some became complacent. All of them committed the sin of allowing themselves to grow older. Fresh blood was demanded unnecessary.
Deemed.
Fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry.
So if you'll notice, this game is because we're directly in the head of the character, it is a lot more cynical, and this will be a lot darker than Coteries.
I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that, especially because she sounds like me.
I personally like this game more than Coteries, even though Coteries was pretty good.
I mean, so far I'm liking it. So the character is likable, in my opinion. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager pay while putting in serious work. Dumbasses. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that hasn't been the cutting edge for a decade. No wonder the readership is in freefall. But even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from the outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they will be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff member who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing.
Oh, he already coughed. That's Brian.
Oh, it has some sound effects. Cool.
A little bit.
Is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian Ing. I think I said that name right. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
I don't know how to say that one myself.
Just gonna say Brian Eng. Nig? Okay.
Eng. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
I'm just gonna say
Brian.
Eng
His name's Brian.
Alright. Editor-in-chief Brian. The man sitting in front of me right now. Of course, he only has time for editorials these days. A drop in the sea of needs. Managerial duties hit him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He's said his piece. Now it's time for me to react, and I'm coming up blank. But what do you want me to say, Brian? I'm pissed off. I can tell you've already made up your mind. But you still want to go through with the motions just to make me feel listened to? Whatever. Let's do this. Okay, Brian, the guy's guilty of major fraud. I feel like, I feel like if I say sexual harasser, he's gonna think that I'm saying it because I'm a woman, and a lot of people do that, and it's rude, I know, but like,
Quasar,
people do that. So.
It's not that deep. Don't
Whatever.
overthink it. It's not that deep.
Alright,
let's
go with guilty of major fraud. Yeah, let's go with that. Brian, my article isn't even something like that. Lashing out at the rich and hoping they don't hit back.
Isn't something like. There's no that.
Oh, sorry. Whoops. Brian, my article isn't something like lashing out at the rich and hoping that they don't hit back. I think Double Spiral's investors would appreciate being told that they're being scammed.
Remember that company?
Also,
Double Spiral?
That was, what's her face? Kara's company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before Hope.
Is she still, like, with us?
Who, Kara?
Yeah, is she still gonna be in the game?
Hope ate her.
Oh, true.
Remember?
Forgot. Whoops. Yeah. The Diablerizing. Yeah. Whoop.
That's see. If, and that's a big if, they're not a conscious part of the scam.
Oh, come on.
And even if they weren't, I doubt they'd be generous enough to protect us from the fallout.
You're avoiding the core of the issue.
No, I believe I've pinpointed it in a precise way. If it were up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it?
Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make me an offer I can't refuse.
What's this about then? Because it looks awfully like...
It's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we have already been threatened with.
So, millionaire interference.
Let me, lower the...
Audio? Okay.
Yeah, just a tad little bit. Yeah, that's
no
good.
problem. Cool.
Oh, for crying out loud, Julia, don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your story, it's Thiel versus Gawker all over again, a lawsuit here, a lawsuit there, until we're bled dry. That is how Gawker actually went bankrupt.
Who's Gawker?
Gawker was a internet news magazine, and then they published, I think they published something in, like about the billionaire tech billionaire Peter Thiel. Kind of an interesting guy, if I do say so myself. He's buddy buds with Elon Musk and the like. Conservative. He's donated to, he supported Trump in the last 2 elections and stuff. So Peter Thiel, I forget what exactly they exposed to him, but he basically, because he's a billionaire, he went to court with them. They could not keep up with the legal action, and they went bankrupt. He made them bankrupt.
Yeah, wow.
I have a mortgage. I have... Oh.
Quick thing. About the stream. So you know how there's like the game section where it shows you the game that we're playing? Yeah. For us, it's kind of like grayed out. I wonder if that's...
Because like, it's not if it's a niche game that's barely known, it's grayed out usually like that. Not all games. Okay, my bad. Not all games. That grayed out thing. That's up to Twitch. Twitch, if they didn't assign an icon, like we can't really do anything about that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Also, let me know if you want to switch the dialogue options to put it on the right side, if you were used to. I personally liked it in the middle, because like my eyes don't have to move to the right. I can just look up. But let me know if you want to change it up.
I prefer it being on the right, mainly because it's good for our thumbnails. But that's it.
That's it? I mean,
That's
I kind of like making a new type of thumbnail for the YouTube videos.
Yeah, we can definitely make a new type of thumbnail because we have to, because the logo is different as well.
Okay, then we might as well keep it in the middle then. Different position.
It was just gonna be because of if the positioning. Actually, no. You know what? Yeah, no. New type of thumbnail it is. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
I have a mortgage. I have 3 mouths waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some...
Don't you think this is... Don't you think it's telling you... Wait, hold up. Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? What? Does this sentence make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. He said he has a mortgage, basically.
Yeah.
He has expenses and bills.
Oh, do you think it's telling?
Don't you think it's telling that... Don't you think it's telling, like, the saying...
Yeah, telling, like, it's noticeable. Sorry, the sentence confused me because usually there should be, like, a that after... telling. But anyways.
This works. You could say, don't you think it's telling? It's telling that.
Fine.
You could say it's telling you. Yeah. Go ahead.
Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? Silence. Just asking questions.
I know better than to get into these empty semantic arguments with you, Miss Sowinski. You're good at them. The problem is, you're still not good enough.
Meaning?
You're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative to let facts get in the way.
You've got enough boring suits with no principles on board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using the facts as a way to approach some kind of truth. Julia would say this with a bit more calm. When she rages, okay.
Yeah, like with a sarcastic, cynical tone, but very calmly. She's a very calm person.
You got enough boring suits with no principles on the board these days. They always give you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts in a way to approach some kind of truth.
There you go. Except facts can blindside you, and Double Spiral has enough facts to water down your story to the point where it makes no sense to publish it. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but it will put every little thing in question.
Jessica Montgomery is a racist...
Jesse.
Sorry, Jesse Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead.
Julia.
Let me say it again. Jesse Montgomery is a racist, fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not?
This is not...
You've listened to the tapes. You've read the transcripts. You've seen the documents. You've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? Click, clack, click, click, clack. Or click, clack, click.
Oh, and if you noticed another thing in this, in Coteries Lila, she barely had any dialogue. In this, Julia, since she's an established main character, she has a lot of dialogue.
She has all the dialogue. Yeah, I really like that actually about her.
Because it's an actual established canonical protagonist instead of a blank slate.
Yeah. I like the fact that she gets to speak more. She has more personality, etc.
Yeah, because in the previous one, you determined the personality and all of that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't really like games like that. I know a lot of people like being able to put themselves into the story, but I'm also like, why am I playing a story? I could just play D&D if I wanted to do that, right? Like,
I mean, some people like to play D&D in a video game form. So
yeah, I guess so. Fair.
Of course I do, but that's to beside the point.
It's not. Look, how about I just say it out loud and save us both some time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well that there's only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage and 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize the well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of greater good. I get it. I really do. Yet for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you?
I'm not the bad guy here, Julia.
So what are you? So what are you then, in your own words?
A man who does what is necessary to protect his own.
So I don't count as your own anymore? He mutters something under his breath, ending in a self-pitying chuckle.
I don't know if you'd even want to work under a scumbag like me from now on.
Oh, come on. Don't turn this into a pity party.
No, I'm absolutely a scumbag.
And why is that?
Because I'm firing you.
My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, the state of my bank account displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens in my chest and starts traveling towards my stomach. No. Don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information now! There must be a catch. What about my work? Let me get this straight. Ever since we met, I've been working on these stories and pieces no one else in your office would touch with a 10-foot pole. Constantly interviewing total nobodies, always busy traveling in the middle of nowhere or regretting my last trip, repeatedly ordered to clean up someone else's mess.
Julia.
All your long-winded spiels about how the disposable work is the most important work, and suddenly you only remember the disposable part?
My feelings about the quality of your work remain the same as ever. It was vital. It kept the magazine going. I will always appreciate it.
Then why would you threaten to fire me?
I would never threaten you. It's a done deal. They've made their decision perfectly clear.
They? What they? Who is they? He glances left and right, and then points upward for a short moment. When he speaks up again, it's in a hushed voice.
You know, the big kahunas can't really question them, and they wanted your head on a silver plate.
He's not looking me in the eye. You're not joking.
I would never joke about stuff like this.
It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it all to hell! All these years, all this grind, all my plans. And for what? Fucking asshole, you know how I deserve better. And I always deserve better. And it always ends with me going down the drain, back to the sewers. Fuck! No.
This is more like a no. Not a no, like a no.
No. Take a few deep breaths. Don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, they'll go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this.
I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause.
No, I mean, it's impossible.
Julia...
You can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to put on this, oh, I get it face, and let out a troubled gasp and start massaging his temples. Lodestar has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much is true. But technically, nobody has ever hired me here. It was all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as kind of a dangling carrot, a promise of a decent pay grade, career perspectives, and maybe even some kind of insurance to save my failing health. And the recognition I would get for being a part of the Lodestar team. A position that everyone around me seems to respect, aside from me. Then why did I want it so much?
This is more like silence, not a sigh. Just silence, like she's just thinking.
There will be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care.
You know what I mean. If I let you work, even under a fake name, it would be a guillotine for me.
This is ridiculous. You know I'm gonna start shopping the story around the second I leave this room, don't you?
Of course I know. I told him.
Any response?
Let us worry about that.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click, clack, click, clack, click. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. Whenever I did my work here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop and sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I tried to break in. A vibration in my back pocket. Feels like a bad omen. I decided to ignore it for now. I've been working on this fucking story for, I don't know, 6 months on and off?
16
months on and off?
I know.
You kept cheering me on.
I know.
We have even agreed on the pay I'd receive.
I know.
I'm 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait, 2.5. I catch him off guard. He is momentarily taken aback and then gives me a sympathetic stare.
Empathetic
stare. Hey, Vixen. She is human for now.
Currently.
Don't you look at me this way. You don't have the right.
I didn't know.
Well, now you do.
Look, if there's anything I can do to help...
If you can't tell your big kahunas to fuck off, I don't think there's a single thing.
Julia...
I pull out a smoke and light it up. Gotta get back in control.
Please don't do that. There's a smoke detector here.
No. Nick turned it off a few weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick. The perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own. Just relies on his purely algorithmic taste to stay likable. And the best thing is, it works. Also, Vixen, I don't actually know if this building is full of vampires. So far,
it's not.
The story started. Wait, don't tell them of that. Don't tell them that. We don't know.
It's pretty, like, for now, there's no vampire stuff involved in the game right now.
For now. But
there's nothing vampire related.
Yeah, like when we first started it, there was some kind of weird monologue about some moon children or something.
Not moon
children.
Pretty sure... No, not moon.
All right.
The monologue was about people, and she's comparing people to the moon. Hence why, in the beginning, there were flashes of moon. She's comparing people to the phases of the moon.
Oh, like how they keep shifting?
Yeah.
And like changing? Okay,
yes.
Okay, I see. Okay. But yeah, so like the cynical, like we basically got a view of her cynical mindset, and then we learned that she wanted to try and put like some like report on like this really big guy who is like committing major fraud, but also he's a sexual predator and
he's a problematic CEO.
Racist.
She was doing an expose.
He's a terrible guy.
But
he's an all-around terrible guy.
The story is being shut down. He's like a Harvey Weinstein type
Yeah,
guy.
and not only is the story being shut down, she's also being fired. So, like, that's kind of where we are right now.
Yeah, so there's no supernatural vampire stuff yet.
Yet.
So.
Yet being the keyword.
Go ahead.
Alright. Funny. I used to dream about this job. It was Brian who killed the stream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of the investigative journalist instead. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but to my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it until this Montgomery thing happened. Serves me right. Lesson learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead.
Stop it. Nicholas is a good friend, a respected critic, a member of my team, and put out that smoke. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way?
Because you once told me honesty is most important in a mentor.
More calmly.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm getting too.
You're getting very
up.
Worked up. Like.
Yeah, I am.
Cynical.
I thought I would be so pissed if this was Quasar, like me in this situation. I'd be so freaking pissed.
She's like a dead inside cynical person who just like,
just growling kind of from the inside.
Basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because you once told me how honesty is the most important in a mentor-student relationship, and that's the way, and that
it
works both ways. Because I thought we were friends. He bites his lip and stares sideways to avoid my eyes.
At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor, if I didn't even teach you that.
Still responsible for me. Oh no. You're not getting off this hook that easily. You're still my mentor, and I will make sure you take responsibility. You're getting rid of me, at least point me in the right direction. I need to get my shit together fast, and I can't do it on my own.
Fair. I might have failed as a guide, but I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but...
Wait a second. Another vibration in my pocket. Another foreboding feeling. This time, I reluctantly take the smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email, a lengthy one. And the sender? Speak of the devil. No. No, this can't be happening. Christ! I just got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she's been just laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonoff and Jared Rivera.
What? What happened?
I'll spare her insults, okay? The key thing is, it seems their HR knows all the confidential information about my journalistic investigation and use it to shut everyone's mouth. Hell, apparently Montgomery walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being a, quote, dumb and careless cunt. Brian goes pale. I think it's a very good reason to. You fucking scumbag! You outed my sources!
What? What? Of course not. What are you even saying?
Oh, don't you dare play coy.
More calm. Must have been more calm.
Sorry.
Again.
Oh, don't calm you dare play coy.
Calm but firm, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Quasar sleeping out. I'm so sorry. Alright, back to Julia. Oh, don't you dare play coy. It must have been either you or me, no one else. And you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption, every direct quote rewritten 5 times, just in case. All sorts of red herrings scattered around. I know my shit. You know I do. And this timing? Did you just pass a flash drive to your beloved kahunas during the meeting as a sign of goodwill? Big kahunas during a meeting as a sign of goodwill?
Look, I get you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through calmly?
Uh, uh, they're all just fuck you, basically.
Some of them are more less nice. Some of them are straight up
Yeah.
direct. So
all right, sorry for no fuck you. That one sounds like more
First
snarky.
one?
I like it. Yeah, very snarky. Theory takes the wheel, and I'm just here along for the ride. Can't do anything about it.
now you can get worked up.
In a deranged way, realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Just see it all unfold. Let's just see it all unfold. Calmly. Fuck you, Brian.
Julia!
I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or a corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up, not in any way that would implicate all of them. Top 10 anime betrayal. That's perfect. You goddamn... You thought you could get away with this?
I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me.
So what? You're claiming it's my fault? Because you're never the guilty one? It's always the bosses, the economy, the obligations you have. And now me?
You're being silly. Quit with this martyr bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to...
You immortal shithead. Sorry. Not immortal, you're not a vampire. You immoral shithead. You motherfucking...
Calm down, for God's sake.
And so it goes. I yell out a lot of words I want to say for a long time, but held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see pity in somebody's eyes. It's gonna haunt me for a long time, but in the heat of the moment, don't care. These people... No, this company has nothing left to offer me, so at least let me take this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has to escort me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I just feel like my world has crumbled into nothing.
Okay, Dakota is a girl. She's a very nurturing, calm, nurturing, soft-spoken girl.
Okay, do you want to do the internal monologue this
yes,
time?
I'm gonna do yes.
Okay, cool.
I was about,
So,
yeah.
just for the viewers that are watching, what we did last time for our Connie, which is the Quarters of New York streams, was basically we took turns doing narrations based on if it was mainly female or male heavy for the characters, because we kind of alternate the voices. If it's androgynous, then we kind of pick who does what. But for clearly male-female characters, we kind of voice it based on.
So Coteries of New York had a third-person narrator. This one is first-person. It's all Julia describing everything. And initially I told Quasar to narrate everything, but then I realized poor girl's gonna get tired. So
I'm gonna be talking to myself.
Yeah. So in scenes where it's Julia with a lot of, let's say, one female character or more, I'm gonna be doing all the internal monologue. All right.
Exactly. But it's still technically Julie talking.
It's still technically Julia talking. Yeah. So go ahead.
I mean, you have every right to. Like, Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. I'd love to, but I'm on the subway. Far too proud to cry in public, even now. And it's stupid, but I feel like someone out there keeps destroying everything I hold dear just to see my reaction. Like it was a prank show and someone was waiting to record me crying. So just out of sheer spite, I'm doing my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever and wherever you are. That's the most Julia Swansky thing I've heard. Spite is the greatest motivator, huh? Or spite as the greatest motivator. Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now, to be honest. I just wanted to stay in my bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evict me. Not surprised. Shit. I know whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another, but this is too much.
How much is too much? Let's recap this last week of June 2019. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired, so let's just say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they keep trying to reach me through every possible channel to threaten me or just to yell at me. And they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down, nobody's replying to my emails, someone's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes. And it worked.
Oh, give me 1 second. I'm just getting the link for our Discord to give to our viewers. Vixen, I'll just let you know. So for today, we're just gonna go through it with just me and Revan. But for next time, if you're around and if you join our Discord, we can probably coordinate with you to figure out what's a good time, and we can probably have you play Dakota for one of our streams. So I'm putting the Discord link in the chat right now. If you want to. If you don't want to, that's totally fine. You don't have to. No obligation. But if you do want to and, join us basically and get to know us, join our Discord. And that goes for anyone else that's watching.
She's already in the server.
Oh, whoops. Okay, we can talk to you about this afterwards. Just at me.
Yeah, Kitty, I know it's you. I just wanted to see if Quasar would
know,
damn. And she doesn't.
I did not know that.
And I just wanted to see her reaction. I know it's you.
I didn't know it was Kitty. Oh my god. Okay. Kitty, if you're on right now, tonight. If you're on right now, you can play Dakota if you want to. We can just add you in.
I don't think.
I thought you were someone else.
She's watching. She's watching from work. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Let her just enjoy the show as a viewer. You know, entertain her at work.
Hey, I thought she was someone else who was genuinely wanting to participate. That's what I thought. That's what I went on. Okay, can't blame.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how long it would take until. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but... Listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional... I said, don't worry about it.
I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call name from Chicago. Apparently, Dad has bladder cancer. Mom is in hysterics. She'd go crazy if she heard about my situation. So I have to pretend everything is okay whenever she calls. And she calls every day. And she just won't hang up before she offloads all her burdens on me. And I can't blame her, because we all had to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and what little money I had, gone. Don't even know when or where it happened. And it's driving me crazy, because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on.
I don't sound paranoid, but it really feels like a concerted attack? Shouldn't it be concentrated?
Concerted is a word. Right. Concerted is basically means well-coordinated attack. Concerted, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Concentrated, technically that word works, but it's awkward phrasing. Concerted attack is like more of what people usually say.
Okay, I don't think I've used that word much, which is why I don't recognize it that well in this context. Yeah. Cool. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you always hand-wave this topic away, but just remember that if anything happens, my place is your place. You don't have to go through it alone.
I do. I've been a trouble magnet, and as self-centered as I may be, I don't want it to affect you.
I know. Listen, I have another call. Alright, just call me if anything happens, no matter how dumb it seems, okay? Just swing by whenever you can. I will. Thank you. See you.
I put my phone away, exhale, and blankly stare in front of me.
Price.
I glance at my reflection in the window. Just look at this idiot. Whenever this situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should have just followed the whole dress for the job you want advice and continue dressing up like a trust fund kid who keeps partying on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world. It's only after a while that I realize the car is empty. Unnaturally so. I start feeling uneasy, but someone enters my peripheral vision.
Is this another girl, or is this the guy?
This is a girl. This is a girl.
Cool.
And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. I'll take over, and you'll see why. When I come to, I'm out of the subway, standing in a back alley I don't recognize. It's pretty dark. My eyes start adjusting, and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't fully make out her face, but she's staring at me with visible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy and androgynous. That should give you an idea of how she's going to talk. Her tone, hateful and mocking. More clues on how to voice act her?
A nasty one.
You cut off in the beginning.
Aren't you a nasty one? What's going on? Who are you? Don't play coy.
My mind goes blank. I look at the ground. There's a body, riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it is. Was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers, my source. He was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can feel even the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my god. Am I guilty? How is this real?
To me.
What have you done to me?
Yeah, that one. You've done something to me, haven't you? Back in the subway, that was you, wasn't it? A man is bleeding out at your feet, and you're turning this around on me somehow? I haven't done anything to him. Again, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad, things escalated, he died.
This isn't true. It's plausible, but that doesn't make it true. Or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't even make sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of me must be responsible. There's a faint voice in my head, screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living in it.
What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet, but I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is a murder in the first degree with special circumstances.
Her detached voice and nonsensical tone only reassures me this can't be real. I refuse to believe it is. Before I even manage to think this through, I point the gun at her.
If I did murder him, you wouldn't be acting like that. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm a psycho. Oh, you are a psycho. But I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out of here alive.
This doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes.
Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of.
There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly, but surely, she starts walking toward me.
Stop right there, I'll shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you are the monster I claim you are.
What the fuck is this tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing.
I'm serious. For your own sake, you'd better be.
It keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antonov. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring not to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I will just wake up. Or maybe this insane reality needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never.
Shoot her. Shoot her!
If you don't shoot, it's game over, so, yeah.
Yeah, I know, you told me that before, but also, from the way I want to play Julie, remember how I first chose... Sorry, Juliet. Remember how I first chose a couple of things which was more, like, very, direct? She's kind of like, she's kind of Layla 2.0, but more cynical and more... She's a higher wisdom stat than Layla did.
And she doesn't care about getting up. Like high
that too.
Winning.
Yeah.
She's
no, she just wants to survive. Her whole deal is survival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been to a shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by pistols. Such a small thing, but it can easily puncture a hole in the fabric reality is made of. Never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke.
Choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you that could become inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will.
He's still alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hands around my waist, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I can feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand, but I'm too dazed to protest.
Oh shit. That was your final test. Congratulations. You have proven yourself worthy.
I can feel something sharp sliding into my neck. It's not too painful, just startling. Think a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors.
Dopamine.
Dopamine? Yeah. I've heard it said as dopamine. I've heard some people say dopamine, okay? So whatever.
I've heard every single time I've heard it as dopamine. Never as dopamine.
The dopamine receptors I've considered, completely fried until now, suddenly recover and start bombarding me with pleasure I've never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such a relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge, at least. Washing away all my fears, all of my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, all of my ego. I become one with the world, and the woman behind me. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. Hold up. I like this music.
Okay. Also, Vixen corrected you also in chat. Haha. Ha 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 ha.
I'm just saying, like, English isn't my first language, and most of my vocabulary... No, I'm serious. Like, most of my vocabulary I learned when... in my formative years, where I kind of didn't have much contact with the outside world and people. So I would... I would pronounce words in my head and imagine how they would sound. And so sometimes, I end up mispronouncing words.
My bad. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to make fun of you or anything like that.
It's fine. So sometimes you'll see me mispronounce some words, even though, like, I might sound well-spoken or something.
I used to be very well-read when I was also in my years of lack of contact with other people. So, but I used to, like, read them sort of out loud in my head so I could hear the words. Which is why, like, I know how to pronounce most, but not everything. Obviously, there's some words I've never seen, like concert, like not concert. It's concerted. Yeah, I've never actually seen that used. So yeah, there are some words that I don't know.
English. Vixen said English is stupid. I wouldn't say stupid. It's inconsistent. It's very inconsistent. Old
it's very
English.
difficult for people who are learning it from a book.
Yeah,
for
because
sure.
it has you'll have one rule and then 15 exceptions to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But hey, that's why grammar notes exist. That's why I have a job. Let's continue.
Sure. She's holding me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in this world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense toward her, something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you, hisses a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I've never felt particularly fond of me, anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has the last laugh. Hallelujah,
No, it's
praise be.
nothing.
When everything is cliche, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope you're doing fine. God, shut up. Just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying
What?
me.
Burying
me. I'm pretty sure I've been dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in her hands from a distance. For a moment, somehow. And then, I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No. Wait. I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realize that whatever this was, it's over. And I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also immediately understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper, which concludes the ceremony.
happens next.
You cut out in the
Don't
beginning.
forget.
You cut out in the beginning.
No matter what happens next, don't forget, you are a monster. But you were lucky enough to be born into a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn the fact. Embrace it. Dun 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 dun. Vampire the Masquerade.
Alright, I'll take over here.
Cool.
Once again, I find myself in Big Beat Burger. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize, mood, same as it ever was. Still, I process it in an entirely different way. It all frustrates me now. Or, more precisely, makes me frustrated with myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown.
Ugh.
It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore, so why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell. It's like I refuse to accept that I'm something better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire, and me, her child. So Kitty's actually in the VTM tabletop game that I'm in, so she already knows what all of these terms mean. But for people who are new, embraced is when a human is turned into a vampire. Kindred is the word vampires use for themselves. Sire is the one who did the embracing. Child is the one who was embraced. So Karen is that woman who was all shadowy and mysterious. Julia is the child. Last night, she taught me the basics of survival, drinking blood, manipulating humans, bending steel, controlling shadows. Tonight, I expected more lessons. Instead, she just told me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch? I asked, to which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. There are a few rules.
Well, you proved to be a disappointment. Whoops.
I was kind of reading I was kind of reading it in like Julia mocking her voice.
Oh, okay.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a few rules. I have to uphold the masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone realize I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on. Masquerade is the rules of vampiric society. They have to hide the fact that they're a vampire. They have to maintain. Hence why it's called masquerade. Mask themselves, disguise themselves as human.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want. But for some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen is probably watching me from somewhere, even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night, she's supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Camarilla, one of the factions in VTM.
The biggest faction that we actually not the biggest. It's one of the biggest.
One of the major ones.
Major,
Not the
one of the
biggest.
major ones. Sorry, one of the major ones, and we actually played as someone from Camarilla in Coders of New York, the last series we played.
Turns out they are the ones who have been systematically ruining my life lately, all a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagining the reach they have makes me dizzy. After they destroyed the old me that I barely cared about, Heron rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left some scars that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful? I am snapped out of my thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag yelling about his french fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave. Permanently.
Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again.
I'm destined for greater things, you see?
Oh,
Alright.
Already into the game.
So, we have 3 things we can do. This one is called The Risks of Swiping Right. This Tinder addict smells like A bit of a loser, B, a wannabe intellectual, C, a perfect source of nourishment.
Yo,
this one's called Dance Macabre. Time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. The club beckons. So you could go dancing, clubbing, you could go on a date with this dude. The third one is Retributive Justice. A meathead bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what better chance could I find to test what I've become? So you could help out somebody being bullied in an alleyway, go dancing in a club, or go on a date and maybe feed on the guy. So.
Okay. Are you asking? Actually, no. You know what? In this specific case, again, I did mention specifically that the Julia I want to play is someone who is about her survival, and that guy might be a source of information as well as maybe a snack, because he loves a snack. So yeah, why not?
And you said you want to play Julia, who's survival. Would you say the Julia you're going for is a bit ruthless?
Yeah, of course. This girl is basically me without any filters.
All right, I'm going to remember that. What your answer?
No.
Okay.
Hey, I'm supposed to embrace my monster.
Go ahead.
Please.
You read here, because I'm going to be voicing the guy.
He lowers his eyes awkwardly, thinking of how to proceed with this rant.
So it's like, the conversation isn't really smooth, yeah? It's like, I keep throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks, but nothing seems to stick for long. You understand, yeah?
I already regret choosing him. Already. I completely regret this.
It's really this lack of context that's killing me about online dating. It's bad enough when a few photos and a single sentence are all you have to rely on when starting a conversation, yeah? But when a cosmic miracle finally happens, and she's actually willing to keep replying to you, and she's actually down to meet up eventually, and you're out there sitting with her, and after 90 minutes, you still don't have that shared context, just no clue whatsoever, it's just like, take me out and put a bullet in my head, and put me out of my misery. Third one?
Ruthless, remember?
So it's just one of those dates, and it's like, we've been sitting here for ages, and the only thing she has a prolonged interest in is getting as hammered as possible. Just one drink after another. And the more drunk she is, the more, familiar she's getting. It's like, these little things, you know? Touching my upper arm after each joke, her arm around my shoulder, her jokingly punching my waist. This escalation's subtle, but steady. In addition, one reoccurring topic appears, and that is all the cool shit she has and wishes she could show me. Oh, too bad it's all back in her apartment. That's when it hits me. She just wants to sleep with me.
Oh, I was gonna say, again. Honestly,
yeah,
like, she does not give two fucks.
Eventually, we both ran out of ideas for topics that could potentially be interesting to the both of us. So I'm just like, yeah, I'd sure love to see all that crap in your apartment. So we Ubered there, and it's an admittedly pretty nice apartment. Like, nothing too fancy, but I can tell her dad's like the kind of asshole I'd like to punch in the face if I ever meet him. You know what I mean? Okay,
so this guy, like, talking about his freaking ex with me.
So she guides me to the kitchen. You'll see.
Oh my god.
So she guides me to the
Oh,
kitchen and makes me some tea,
gosh.
a rare Indian blend. Forgot what it was 5 minutes later. Then she excuses herself and goes to the bathroom and doesn't come back. 10 minutes later, I run out of tweets to read and become a little concerned. I start looking around. The first thing that catches my eye is the kitchen table. Third one. The table's surprisingly large and it's covered in neatly arranged documents, like some connect the dots, investigation board, mafia conspiracy kind of thing. Naturally, I take interest. It takes him 20 seconds to process what it is. Her entire mental health history, sorted chronologically, with all the juicy stuff neatly underlined in color. And I mean entire. It's all in there. A detailed description of her fucked up household situation over the years. Anxiety, ADHD, bouts of depression, suspicions of schizophrenia, severe BPD, some weird psychosexual stuff with her brother. I keep reading, and remember what I said about throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks? I'm dead certain that's how her shrinks went about diagnosing her. She finally comes out of the bathroom like an hour after she went in. At this point, I read all the shit on the table 3 times, and not just the stuff she's highlighted for my convenience. And I feel like, right now, I understand her better than like someone who's read Crime and Punishment understands Raskolnikov.
Oh, yeah,
Raskolnikov. And I'm not happy about that, like, at all. You know what I mean?
Like, straight up, I didn't have to click anything here. Julia's just, like, done with this shit. As
he walks in with a cheerful, hi.
Oh my
I respond
God.
with a slick, all good? She nods, does this weird finger gun thing, and chuckles. I pretend I've been doing work-related stuff on my phone this whole time. The small talk starts. A minute in, she casually picks up one of the documents on the table, and she starts doing these super obvious body language cues that are like, oh no, how did this get here? I'm practically dying inside, but I put on my cool face and make it look like I'm not here. Sorry, gotta reply to my boss. Yeah, he's working 24/7, psycho motherfucker, yeah. She slowly collects all the documents, puts them away, and then nonchalantly asks me something about Tame Impala when I'm feeling crushed by all the kinds of trauma I just learned about. The apartment starts feeling like a coffin. All of a sudden, she picks up a kitchen knife and starts playing with it, with this zoned out stare. I'm fucking mortified. So what do you think I did?
Slept with her. You slept with her.
Of course I slept with her. That's how the worst 6 months of my life began, and I couldn't even say I didn't see it coming. God, I'm such a slut.
God, this guy just gave me his life story about his ex. Oh my god.
Go for it.
Julia.
You picked
Poor
this.
Julia.
You picked this option. You wanted a snack, so.
I said, as soon as he started talking, I immediately said I regret this, okay?
No, but
Immediately
that question you said about being
regret
ruthless, it wasn't just because of this quest.
God fucking
I'm gonna
damn
keep
it.
that question in mind, and I want to see if you change your mind. But let's see.
Alright.
Go for it.
He leans back and groans while hiding his face behind his palms. I look at his neck. Every vein seems so visible and impossibly alluring. I don't think I ever looked at anyone's neck like that. I realize I feel insanely thirsty. Damn.
I know.
You sure took a turn years ago when this rant began. It was about continental philosophy.
What? Sorry, can you say that again?
Pretty drunk, barely able to focus on anything but his current train of thought. Just what I was hoping for. Years ago when this... Never mind. Listen, it's stuffy in here. I want to get out. Get some fresh air.
You haven't touched your drink.
I mean, I would if I could. No more alcohol for me. What? No, this one's not mine. I mean, some dude bought it for me, but I don't want it. He scans the room with a death stare, looking for the guy who did it, not realizing his best chance of finding him is in a mirror. Then he drinks like half of my glass at once while looking around as if he's hoping to prove his dominance over an unseen enemy.
Okay, after you.
We're walking across a mostly empty street. He's focused on keeping upright and walking in a straight line. I'm focused on finding a spot where I can drink him up.
You seem like bad news.
Oh yeah? So why don't you just leave me alone?
Determinism, I guess?
I roll my eye. And that's when I notice it. A deep, underlit stairwell. I look around and realize there's no one around. This is my chance. I immediately yank him downstairs. It's almost pitch black, but I can still see his face. He doesn't seem shocked. It's more like awkwardness.
Now listen, it's not that I, never want to do this sort of thing in public, quite the opposite. It's just that I need a certain degree of comfort to, perform at optimal levels.
Oh, shut up. I sink my fangs inside of his neck as he whimpers and becomes silent. Finally. This is what I've been waiting for the past hour. He relaxes in my arms, and I relax with him. It's like all the drinks I had to deny myself until now were hitting my head all at once, with no unpleasant side effects. I feel radiant. I don't want this moment to end. But it has to. I drop his body to the floor and lick the wounds closed, just the way she taught me. His pulse is faint but steady. He reeks of booze. If anyone finds him, there should be no suspicions. As I walk up the stairwell, I insert a finger into my mouth and try to sense my fangs. No dice. It seems they really are retractable. Well, that's handy. The hunger pangs are gone. I rub my hands around my body. I feel comfortable, hopeful, happy. I can't remember the last time I enjoyed feeling like this. Now, let's keep this party going.
One more action.
Cool. Alright, what's the other two? Go to a dance
party,
or go to...
or help out a guy who's being bullied, attacked. Sounds like he's being mugged in an alley.
Let's go see what's up with the mugging. It's not that I want to help him, it's more like
Okay, take it
I'm
away.
seeing this happen. Okay, wait, but like, do you know why I chose this instead of the other one?
Why?
Because as Julia, she's been told she's a monster and she's living up to that name, but she has a part of herself that doesn't want to believe it, but she's so in the deep end of like utter self-depression type
Self-loathing.
thing. That
Self-loathing?
Self-loathing, yeah, self-loathing, that's the word. She's in so much self-loathing that she can't really see past it, but she still has that little part of her, right? So when she saw like this guy getting beat up, she probably just wanted to take a closer look, and she convinced herself it's only because she wants to know who that guy is so she can avoid him, not to help the guy. But we'll see what happens here.
Okay. I am very interested to see what other decisions you make and what ending you get.
Cool.
Take it away.
Two men are facing each other in a dark alleyway, in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he's struggling to catch his breath.
People, anybody out here? I'm being robbed!
A brawny, rugged guy is yelling all at metal staircases with a theatrical incredulity in his voice. With a lively step, he dances around an older man who's having trouble finding his footing.
What is this bullshit? Oh, so now you can talk? Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about.
The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. He's smiling, but his eyes send a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try to pull a fast one on me.
Come on, homeboy. You may be able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's like an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You've got some moves on you. You're like, shit, you're like a black mamba. Lightning fast reflexes.
He starts shadowboxing for a moment. The man's definitely got the energy to spare.
However, I'm like a king cobra. You've met your match. 2 apex predators, now locked in battle.
Apex.
Oh, so you're seeing snakes? That would explain some...
Before he's able to finish, a sucker punch knocks the air right out of his lungs. The old man slides on the wall before he can let out a groan. He's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest.
That's what I'm talking about. A fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Take a seat. Deep breath. Collect your thoughts before you speak up again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit that this is a mugging. Wallet, my ass. Still in denial. Okay, let's say I had about $5,000 in there. Give me $6,000, I'll let you walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? That this is not about proper compensation. This is a robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go all Anderson Silva on your ass, give me what I want. Anderson Silva? Yeah, Anderson Silva. A flying knee meeting your solar plexus. The man, the myth, the legend. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and Capoeira combined into a single fighting style that can only be described as straight-up murder. I've been studying the glorious singularity that is Anderson Silva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want the snake to turn into a deadly spider, show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. Huh? Watched it live, on pay-per-view. Weidman saw through all of Silva's tracks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him for a fraud he is. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk on his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him. Asshole.
For a good minute, the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. When he finally speaks up, his voice betrays an intent to kill.
You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts. Exactly.
His fist.
We got ourselves a mixed martial arts expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk with some self-defense skills, homie.
This is pathetic. Boosting your self-esteem by beating up an injured old geezer? God damn, you're pathetic. He jumps at the sound of my voice, turns my way in the blink of an eye, and immediately assumes a combat stance. His reflexes are sharp. Looks like he has at least this much to back up all his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva's face betrays the utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself.
Nothing personal, kiddo. Teleports behind you.
Wham. It feels like I became one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing in a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another as if it were different trains of thought. I think of some experiences I've had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure. I was outside of this alleyway. Blink, I was above the alley. Blink, now in front of this guy. And he pisses me off. The older man slumps down. Looks like he was trying his best to keep it together and gave up once the cavalry arrived. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way.
The hell you sneaking around for, chica? Move along. It's between men.
Not anymore. His fist turns toward me.
I'm serious, and an equal opportunity ass kicker.
I respond to the threat with the brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. So you're into shadowboxing, huh? Something comes over me. I feel a darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me up for what's to come. Low spinning sweep. Let's go. I've always wanted to try this. I zoom in, duck below his fist, and sweep him off his feet with a powerful roundhouse kick. It's probably the dumbest, flashiest thing I could have done, but I'm feeling more confident than ever. He flies into the air, only managing not to fall because of the wall behind him. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it, and he absolutely should have. But instead, he just flailed his arms helplessly, as if he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train. a primal expression of fear that suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best guess is like the gapping maw of some primordial beast. I follow up the surprise attack with another punch to the solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, the effect terrifies even myself. Looks like my hunch was correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a little bit. A bit. And then grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy.
Let me go! Let me... For Christ's sake, just let me go!
Kick him in the direction of the alley entrance. He staggers off, quickly disappearing from my sight. I check on this victim. Looks like he's conscious.
I really like the violin. They have a lot more violin soundtracks, violin music soundtracks in this game, so I just really like soundtracks in this one.
Fun fact, which is not really necessary here, but I used to play the violin for 3 years.
Oh, nice. Do you still play it?
Yeah. I think I could still play it if I had one. Actually, a friend of mine, back like a couple of years ago, he bought a violin to learn himself, and then he was working at a shop or something after his actual work. And he let me try it, and I did do some the old Jingle Bells or
the basics, the basic
Ode
tunes.
to Joy, the basic stuff that I learned before. I still kind of remembered those, and I remember the notes, and I remember the It's gonna sound wrong, but I remember the fingering. The finger placement.
Yeah, I got you.
And the positioning and everything.
Nice.
I love the sound of the violin, honestly, and it's one of the I wouldn't say the easiest because it's not. It's really hard to remember the notes and keep the tempo up. And if you don't have an ear for tune, you kind of end up.
If you're tone deaf.
Yeah, if you're tone deaf, it's really bad. But the actual playing of a violin it feels beautiful. Not only does it sound beautiful, it feels beautiful when you actually play it.
Violin is one of my favorite. Violin and piano. I never really learned to play an instrument.
I did both.
But if I wanted to play two, it would be violin and piano. They're pretty cool instruments.
I played violin for 3 years. I played the piano minorly. I am nowhere as close to our awesome friend Rubric, who is this amazing pianist. But I can play basic tunes again on piano.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyways. Wow. You whooped his ass, girl.
But hasn't noticed anything out of the order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it a bit. That woman did say that keeping a low profile would be crucial if I want to survive.
Vixen's asking how do you know if you're tone deaf?
Oh. Well, I mean, it's not mostly tone. It's more tempo. If you can't figure out the tempo or the beat properly, and you can't keep pace with that, then it's going to be really hard for you. So you know how there's 6th and 8th notes and stuff like that? You need to know exactly how long to hold the note and exactly how long to before you have to go over it, and because you have the bow, right? You have to, how do I say this? Some of them are very quick movements, quick flicks, and those are again very short notes, and some of them are very long because of longer notes, and to kind of go back and forth between them and figure out exactly the right amount to hold each note. That's what I meant by tone deaf. I don't actually mean actually tone deaf, because we do have in the electronic pitch detector or whatever it's called. We use those to tune our violins. But yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Also, I used to play the bass guitar. Sorry.
Did you play every instrument? Why aren't you a bard? Why aren't you a bard in D&D?
Because bards don't really get to. I mean, they play instruments in D&D, but you don't actually play instruments IRL when you're playing a bard. You're playing a funny character.
Sounds like you're a bad bard player. A real bards that I know bring their actual instruments to the session and start firing a tune right then and there.
Hey, if I'm gonna be healing someone, you sure as hell are gonna hear me play a harp.
All right.
Cool. All right. You need help? Sorry. All right. Need help?
You all right?
Oh crap. I said those words in the wrong arrangements so many times.
Yeah.
You all right? Need help? He managed to stand up. His smile was strained, but it suggests he's fine, or at least trying his best to seem fine.
No.
Wait, totes do what, Vixen?
She's referring to my comment about bringing an actual violin or instrument.
Do
if
it.
you're a bard to your actual D&D session, if you play an instrument.
Yo, do it, man. Do it.
Because I've had friends who played bards in D&D sessions, and because they didn't have the actual lute instrument, they would open their laptop or their phone, and they'd play a little tune, which I thought was pretty cool. And I know, what's it called? There's Tom's. I forget his name, but he's the head of Obsidian Games. They made games like Pillars of Eternity, Fallout New Vegas, Outer Worlds. He said that whenever he DMs D&D sessions, he has one house rule, which is that if a player has a song, they can pick a song, and it's for like it gives them a special boost or power. And if they can, in the middle of the session, if they can sing the full lyrics of that song without notes, references, he will give them like a free extra action, like once per session. So I think that's like pretty cool. A friend of mine.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, it's a good way to kind of reward creativity.
Exactly,
so
reward creativity.
Nice.
I love house rules like that. Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
No, you gave me all the help I needed, and then some. Thank you, Miss. What's your name?
Jessica.
Thanks, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this asshole's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. I'd better be going. My wife is probably worried sick, but before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you.
What? Where to celebrate mean?
No,
what do you mean by
Vixen,
that?
No, Kitty. I think you have some skill. I think you have plenty of skills.
What?
But you just don't recognize some of them sometimes. And
Kitty.
That's why you have friends who tell you what those skills are.
Kitty, there is no one in the world that has absolutely no skills, okay? Breathing, technically...
Okay. No, I disagree. I think there are absolutely some people in the world who possess zero skills. Not because it's... see, here's the thing. I'm going on a tangent here, but when it comes to skills,
completely,
some skills you are kind of naturally attuned to. Like some people have a natural disposition to, like,
some people have natural talents and gifts.
But most everything, it comes through practice and like effort. And when I say some people have zero skills, it's not because they're like, I'm saying people are born dumb. Absolutely not. It's because these people are lazy rich kids who never have had to develop any talents, and mommy and daddy and papa paid for everything going forward.
I completely agree with you on that regard, but there are also, like, what I'm just going to say is it's not necessarily about whether you have skills or can practice them. It's also about how much willpower do you have to go through with it. Like, sometimes you need to know when to give up, and sometimes you need to know when you can continue and keep yourself going, right? It's honestly a really big, like, battle with yourself. And a lot of the time, like, for example, if I was going to go play piano again, I'm just going to give up right now because I know piano, I'm no good at piano, honestly.
Yeah.
But I could probably go back and do violin again. So
motivation is one of, like, the biggest factors, because it takes, like they said, it takes about 10,000 hours of practice until you truly master, like, something. You get decent at a skill. So, yeah.
You need motivation to drive you. Exactly. And without that motivation, you are basically a car that's going to run out of gas anytime.
Kitty, that's why you re-roll your willpower. In Vampire the Masquerade, so you have, in the tabletop game, you have your health bar, your hunger bar, your humanity bar, and your willpower. So 4 bars.
How about your sanity?
That's your humanity. Humanity is like your sanity. Like, so hunger, humanity, health, and willpower. If you fail, like, let's say you roll, and let's say your roll was bad, you can re-roll your hunger dice. You have 2 types of dice in VTM. You have normal dice and you have hunger dice. If you roll for an ability, and let's say your roll was pretty bad, you can let yourself lose a willpower and re-roll the dice. But then the downside is you have less willpower, and then you have to wait for your willpower to regenerate again. So it's an interesting mechanic. But we're getting let's continue on.
Far off track, but
yeah.
Kitty, now that I know what you said, I will be talking to you, young lady, like in person on Discord. You best believe it.
He's
okay,
threatening you, Kitty. Run. So which one
I
did you
am
pick?
threatening.
Which one did you pick?
What does it mean by where to celebrate?
Basically, you save this guy and you're like, okay, cool. You want to help me? Tell me where the party's at.
Oh.
What cool clubs are around this place?
I'm trying to be ruthless, eh?
Okay, look.
But
you listen. Just because you're role playing, I know you're an expert role player. You play D&D and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just because you are ruthless doesn't mean you're constantly a one-dimensional ruthless character.
That's why I'm just like conflicted. I'm like, wallet, but I just saved him, and also I'm fighting with myself.
If you wanted his wallet, why'd you save him? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That actually kind of contradicts.
Exactly. It wouldn't make any sense. And also, I don't think he has his wallet.
Unless you want to play a completely one-dimensional evil character, like, I mean, but if you did, I would actually be disappointed as your co-host. Like,
okay, cool.
Because I hold you in a higher regard because you're familiar with role playing. I've noticed when it comes to role playing, a lot of new people are like, "Oh, but my character, he's a lawful good paladin." Even the most lawful good paladin, if he sees little babies being sacrificed, will snap and go on a killing spree. Exactly.
Well, most people are multidimensional. Sorry, not everyone.
I think your first instinct was where to celebrate, so let's just go with that.
That's what I wanted to do. All right. I want to celebrate tonight. Where would you go if you were me?
Celebrate? Huh?
First thing that comes to your mind. I want to feel alive.
Times Square?
Times Square? Jeez, get the fuck out of here with this tourist bullshit.
I came here a few weeks ago myself. Still haven't managed to see it. And I always wanted to. In the movies, it always seems so full of life, so...
Not so full of life at this time of night. And not that interest... Sorry, I'm gonna read that again. Not so full of life at this time of night. And not that interesting in general. Although, I think you just helped me come up with an idea.
Glad to hear that. Take care. Will ya?
You too. Avoid shady spots. Next time, probably won't be able to bail you out. And there he goes. Avoid shady spots, huh? Glad I no longer have to abide by my own advice. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street. Ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight. Now, not that I need to. Future's looking bright. Wow. What a night.
I watched. Oh, she's gonna. This again. She's
the monologue.
Yeah. I watched Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me emotional, to be honest. But here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? That one guy...
I just realized that Kitty wanted us to choose Be Careful. I'm so sorry, I didn't realize it until now.
Oh yeah, I thought she was telling us to be careful.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was the Cat of Worms thing.
Like, be careful with choices you make, yeah.
Exactly.
That one guy I saved from a beatdown will probably get bored of this place 5 minutes after an obligatory selfie. Although, I guess one's enjoyment of these sights depends a great deal on perspective. In any case, I'm glad he gave me the idea. Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. It took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight, I started experimenting with this body's limits. I realized I can jump over small buildings and climb steep walls with ease now, and my whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a scenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I was told. Stayed in the shadows as much as humanely possible. I spot a drone from afar. For a second I feel uneasy, but I remember what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage, photos, It's all glitched out or blurry. Kitty, you should know what clan Julia is, because there's somebody in our coterie, in our game, who is this clan. That clue should tell you. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't try to catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly. Not in the mirror, not even in a puddle. My face was like one of Dolly's clocks. She told me to keep a low profile regardless. Someone might take note and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly, it hits me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about the long-term psychological effects? A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus. This is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down. Wait a second. These past few nights have been the best of my life. For years, I was on a downward spiral, failing health, no future, a feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. Kitty, really? She can't see her own reflection. Everything's blurry.
Yeah,
photographs.
Totally grew her. Especially with how
Kitty, her reflection is blurry. Camera cannot catch footage of her. Who in our clan?
Let her think about this. Let her think about it. Don't pressure her just because. Don't pressure
I'm
her
giving her
just
clues. Who in our group cannot see their own reflection? Every time they call us, their voice is all raspy, and we can barely hear words.
Okay, let her think about it while we proceed.
Also, the game is called Shadows of New York. Another clue, Kitty. I'll let you think about it. Now, everything has been flipped upside down. A total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Where it used to stand at mere seconds to midnight, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as the world telling me to chin up. You're getting warmer, Kitty. Actually, you're very hot. Hot right now. I can bend anyone to my will. I am capable of superhuman strength. I am a master of shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night, I will be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York representative of Clan La Sombra.
Dun dun dun!
Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight is tonight. I'm free. All my worries, from a month ago, feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up.
La Sombra, yes!
Alright, I'll take over the... whenever I take over the narration, there's going to be a reason why. And I'll tell you when you're going to do the narration. March 2020. Back at it again at Big Beat Burger. Familiar sounds, familiar smells, familiar faces. Yet again, I'm recalling that night when everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I wasn't expecting everything to go back to the old depressing normal. Even in the thick of it, the rational part of me recognized my state as temporary. But with these highs, there's always a hope it won't end. Or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's the obvious direction for your life. And here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. I always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep in my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion. These goddamn fast food trips. The stupid fucking self-loathing. Now amplified whenever I drink somebody's blood.
Yep, that makes sense.
Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You do this social climbing until you disassociate, and then you're just this untethered, constantly frustrated ball of dumb desires. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. I watched this obscure Asian movie once, Eli Lama Sabachthani, starring Tadanobu Asano. So Eli Lama Sabachthani actually, it's Aramaic. It is it is the words of Christ in the Bible as he was being crucified. He supposedly said, Eli Lama Sabachthani. I forget what it
Okay.
means in Aramaic. I think it might mean, Father, Father, why have you forsaken me? I gotta double check, but yeah, those are the words of Christ as he was being crucified in the New Testament.
Okay.
Starring Tadanobu Asano, one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays this Merzbow-like figure, a legendary noise musician. There's this mysterious virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicides. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for the cure. Turns out, Asano and his friend, played by this violent onsen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan searching the corpse-strewn towns and fields for any unique item that can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde walls of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offering them all the money they want, but for some reason they refuse. Through a series of flashbacks, concerts, and vignettes, is it vignettes or vignettes? Vignettes?
A vignette.
Vignettes, okay. A mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize that Asano's music is not just a remedy. It's also a cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get this hunger for more extreme, more novel experiences. And eventually they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even the musicians are spared from this curse. They know the end will come, sooner or later. The girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano silently considering his role as savior and destroyer stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, little to no creative coherence, some weird cartoonish creative choices, the Japanese noise soundtrack, the very free form and hard to understand weave of themes. But at this point...
you said creative coherence, it was narrative coherence, but anyways, continue.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You said creative accidentally because of the second line.
Oh, I see.
Freudian slip.
But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect with me. I'm the New York representative of the La Sombra clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They are masters of shadows, who cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined with the Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect in the vampire world. The two groups actually used to fight each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy. So they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. An unlife for an unlife. Simple. The deal they got in Chicago was simple. One unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra vampire allowed in the Ivory Tower, one La Sombra vampire has to meet their ultimate end. Ivory Tower is another nickname for the Camarilla, the people who control the Camarilla.
Yeah. The Primogens.
Primogen and the Prince, the elders, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death, so I could begin my unlife. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. She was someone with far better principles than mine, from what I gathered. Well, whoever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the NYC elites to give us La Sombra a chance. Then, they set out to look for a mutually agreed-upon candidate who would become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone who gave the impression she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. After long negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. They proceeded to systematically destroy my entire life, just to make me show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The Turncoat Special, they called it. Somehow, I succeeded. And it eventually led me right back to where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down.
Did you sigh? Because I didn't hear you sigh.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I stopped writing.
But it's okay.
It looks like Twitch. My microphone picked it up on Twitch. It seems like.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll put my again.
It's cool. That's fine.
I stopped
Don't
writing
worry about it.
and put my pen down. Remember her?
It's her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Will that be all? Yes, Miss Duval. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. Oh, I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Fucked up serial killers.
You're not gonna actually say
Uh,
this. These are
yeah.
Julia's own thoughts. Hence why it's in
Fucked up serial
parentheses.
killer. Fucked up serial killer. Yep, that's what I think of
Why?
her.
Why?
Doesn't she know she's a serial killer? She doesn't know this?
She doesn't quite know this yet. Or
Oh
maybe she
shit,
knows.
okay.
She knows a little bit. She knows a little bit here and there. She knows a little
Alright.
bit about Valerie's work. So, I was just asking why you picked the first option. But okay.
Because she is a fucked up serial killer. She's kind of batshit crazy.
Yeah. So go
If
ahead.
she if Julia knows as much as Layla knew about Valerie,
She knows a
would know
little
that
bit
she's fucked
here
up.
and there. So
Yeah.
she does
Okay.
know. She's been introduced to people. So yeah.
Alright. At least you're headed there to kill some of the Dustborn you hate so much.
Duskborn. Let me see. Oh, Duskborn. They're another word for thin bloods, which is
Yep.
Yep.
The Larson's group.
People. Hmm.
Yep. One of the benefits of being a Scrooge, if there is one, one of the benefits of being a Scrooge, if there's one thing this world is never short of, it's loathsome runoffs who forfeited their right to live. That will be all. Tell Qadir I said hello and farewell. Safe travels.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Ah, well. I'm the lone Lasombra in this town, and my representational role means jack shit. No title, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher, doing all sorts of work nobody else will touch. My main duties? Being a sort of immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA, and definitely the biggest one on the East Coast. Almost every kindred arriving from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local Camarilla is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so every vampire leaving or arriving in this town is supposed to check with me to inform me about their travels. Well, in theory at least, the VIPs play by the different rules. They take care of this stuff through connections and servants. But for the smaller fish, I'm like a vampire Statue of Liberty. The first bloodsucker every kindred coming to NYC should see. On paper, anyway.
Papers, please. Do it
The
again.
first-
Papers, please.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah,
The first-
that's what it reminds me of. She's the guy.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
The first after the prince, or Qadir, the Primogen Council, these things vary. Yeah, I'm a naturally traitorous Lasombra, so they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. As I said, at the very end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in, just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places, such as coffee shops or this fast food restaurant. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but luckily, most of them understand we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who need to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. My sorry upbringing left me with this stupid sense of responsibility. 10 more minutes pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Okay, when you do her voice, it's going to be very wise, calm, warm. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So say,
Okay.
yeah, you'll see.
Okay.
Long chestnut hair, body stuck in her late teens, by the look of it, a fashionable scarf covering most of her face, elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying my best not to let my impatience show. She obliges.
Took your time, huh? Took your sweet time, huh?
One day, and it will be a beautiful day, I will learn how to keep all this bitterness in and stop getting in trouble.
Sorry, miss.
Formal, warm, wise.
Yep, I'm gonna give
Yeah.
her a slight accent because she seems kind of Arab to me. So Give her a slight accent.
A slight
No?
accent might actually be good, but not Arab. She's not Arab. Not quite Arab.
Alright. Sorry, Miss Swansky, was it? It is not exactly the kind of place we expected.
She's scanning her surroundings like we're at a circus.
I hope you won't mind if I make it quick. I'm needed in Elysium. Name? Catherine Weiss.
So go for like a slight German. I like the accent you have, so that's good. Huh. I swear. I've heard that name before. Someone else's description of her crosses my mind.
That weird lady who owns the art hole, but is never there? Weird.
So it is her. Catherine Weiss, the owner of the art hole, de facto headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Julia, what are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you've already made a fool of yourself in front of enough VIPs in this city. Recover.
I'm sorry. It's just that I still don't know how many people there are, so I have to go by the descriptions I'm given by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct. Outside of the one that slightly perplexes me, pot calling the kettle black sounds like.
I actually really like the accent you've given her. This perfectly
Cool.
matches how I imagined her.
From what I gathered, it's just that your interests are rumored to be not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up there. Being a keeper of Elysium is not enough for some. I see. I suspected as much, but what can you do?
He seems chill. Good.
Anyway, Catherine Weiss, wow. Yes. You want me to spell it? People often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just that people of your stature usually don't bother checking in with me. They usually report their arrival to one of the Primogen, and they make all the arrangements. I heard Prince Panhard is busy with the preparations for her big party. I assumed that if I spared some of her paperwork, she'd appreciate it as a gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the infamous La Sombre representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest piqued once I heard about her.
He looks around knowingly.
Unique circumstances. Yes, Prince Helen Panhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent my property would need. That's literally pennies for her. And as far as I know, she's been sitting on an empty property since last year. Looks like they've got it out for you bad.
That's what I assumed, but it's nice to get a confirmation.
Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard. Sins for the father and so on. Yes. Just to make sure, you've never met Hester, but you know of her? I do know. I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? No. I only heard of her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, although we tended to come up with completely different solutions. In any case, I think it's meaningful that Hester died so that you could live. They feared her. Now they fear you, and that's why they're keeping you down.
If anyone who's not a VIP said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy my favors. Best not to act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business.
Time will tell. In the meantime, I need you to help me out with my documentation. Of course. So, where are you coming from? Washington, D.C.?
He says it the way people in Hollywood movies say it. The way that suggests her Washington is wildly different from the Washington you and I would see.
What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down. I thought it was muse Helen a little bit. If you say so, date and hour of arrival?
She takes out a plane ticket and slides it towards me.
It's all here. 1 a.m. Got it. Method of transit, plane, purpose of visit. Meeting with the prince ought to work just fine. I guess. Estimated duration of visit? Undefined. Write in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodation, conditions of intended stay. The art hole. Conditions should be adequate. You tell me. I tend to be happy with Airbnb. Home sweet home? I'm not certain that I ever felt particularly at home here. That makes 2 of us. Curious. Do you have nothing holding you here?
The face of a blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanishes.
There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see.
A prolonged silence. She stares into my eyes, and I return the stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best not to turn away. Eventually, she smiles.
Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh god, yes. God, they will kill me.
I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table.
You can simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand, and he'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. You're kind of a big deal, huh? So, you're basically a celebrity around here, huh? Not sure, but then again, celebdom is really easy to achieve in this city. You know what the trick is? If I did, I wouldn't be stuck in a fast food joint. Being exactly what people expect you to be. Yeah, still working on that part. Good. We will see each other soon, I hope. The party tomorrow night? I wasn't invited.
He gives me a pitying look.
I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Wyas. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night. And don't rush these things. You've got your whole unlife ahead of you. And you're in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time. Get a different perspective.
I nod and walk slowly out the door. When I lose sight of the restaurant, I sprint toward the subway.
Slow night.
I wish. You're late again, by the way. I hope you have a good excuse.
You look so different now. He
Slightly.
actually reminds me of my friend.
His hair is tied up in a ponytail.
Yeah, okay, so like today I went to go eat dinner with a couple of friends, right? One of my friends straight up did not cut his hair the whole pandemic, and he looks like that, but like different. But like he had like, my god, his hair is better than mine, and I was so jealous that he was not taking care of it, and he just like left it in a ponytail. Like...
Yep, that's what a lot of people, when it gets in the eyes, like brushing your bangs, that's what they do.
I mean, I do that too, but also I was so jealous of the quality.
Okay, I'll take it here and you'll see why.
Cool.
Qadir al-Asmai, the mighty sheriff of New York City, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we'd agreed on.
Catherine fucking
You
Wyas
cut out. I didn't hear anything in the first part.
Sorry. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Wyas decided to arrive fashionably late.
A likely story. She's supposed to be out of the city.
If you think I'm pulling your leg, boss, feel free to check my report.
I pass him all of the official papers, the way I do every other night. Qadir stares me down for a good few seconds. Then his steely gaze softens. You're serious? Wise in McDonald's with the mask and elegant clothes, surrounded by the smell of French fries and hamburger patties? That must have been one hell of a sight.
Technically, it was BBB, not McDonald's. But yeah, God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted somebody calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot.
Serves you right, you walking faux pas. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you never learn. It's a new gaffe every week with you. Still, there's good news and bad news. The good news is, Catherine has a fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say...
Beginnings.
It should be, oh yeah, they put an extra
Yeah, it should be beginnings, but it's beginnings. Sorry.
Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat.
She's one of those rich art scene assholes who seek out the working class creed. Cred.
I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is, she is very astute, so she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her.
Shut up. You still need me for anything here. I'll get on it straight away.
I wouldn't be standing out here chatting with you if I hadn't taken care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for the big party. I'm about to see everyone off.
Okay.
I didn't hear you.
Sorry.
Couldn't be helped, I suppose. And it's more your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties, so everyone can get to know your face. Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to... what do they call it? Hustle?
To tell me that. But it's not like
You cut out in the beginning again.
You don't need to tell me that. But it's not like being paraded around for a bunch of blue-blooded douchebags is...
He somehow manages to give me a painful nudge in the back without so much as a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool. They're coming out. Just stand in here for silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further. Will you?
Ugh. Got it. I did it instead of tisk because
Hisk.
that didn't get... Yeah, but it didn't get picked up. I tried
fine.
it twice.
That's fine.
So I did instead.
That's totally fine. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of the art hole. An old man in a wheelchair pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen either of them before. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. Hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair. I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of the American Camarilla's main connections to the government and Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. Needs a servant to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in this condition, but apparently, Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses of the traditions and Camarilla customs.
I should probably stay silent because Kader is gonna kill me otherwise. Survivability. So yeah, I'm gonna stay silent. Also, after this night is over, we should probably call it a night for ourselves.
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually know a perfect place where to start. No, there's no hum. If it's ... just silence.
Okay.
He wordlessly shakes Qadir's hand, but doesn't even deign to acknowledge me. At least his servant gives me a small bow. I return it. They leave. Qadir turns to the next person leaving. High Regent, can't wait to see you in your outfit. Alright, you remember her voice.
Spare me, Sheriff. Wait, no. Spare me, Sheriff. No, wait, how was your voice again? It was cold, right?
Cold academic. So kind of professory.
Yeah. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties cause me enough suffering without your help. I can only hope you haven't conspired with Helen to embarrass me with this gift.
She points to a shrink-wrapped set of clothes she's carrying inside her coat. Qadir smirks briefly. I didn't have to. As you well know, Prince Panhard displays a considerable foresight in the matter of party planning.
Yes, if there's one thing she's deathly serious about, it's frivolities.
A recognizably mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it.
Don't worry, Sheriff. I'm a big girl who knows her etiquette. I will play your game, amuse the crowd a little bit, and return to my study as fast as possible.
Eiling Sturbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town. Could be a prince herself, if she didn't have her eyes on a bigger prize. So you remember these terms. Regent is the Chantry,
Regent,
where the Tremere
Regent is
are.
like, yeah, the highest regent of the Chantry is basically like the warlocks, what's it called? What's their names again?
Tremere.
The Tremere. Yeah, the Tremere have their own little council and their own hierarchy system, and she's the highest there. So she's like the prince
she's the
of
leader.
the Tremeres.
No.
Basically.
It is not a prince.
Sorry,
No.
she's not the prince. I meant she's the leader of the Tremeres.
They have the group of Tremere, their research, where they do all their research, their like institution is called the Chantry. And she's the High Regent, the leader of it,
Okay. Yeah, basically. Okay.
The thing is, nobody knows what that prize is. They only know it has something to do with the goal of her thaumaturgical research. Whoever tried to find out what it is failed. Violently. Oh, I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Sawinski here has just informed me Catherine Weiss is back in town. It is safe to assume she will join our festivities.
You're kidding me. She did say she will attend the party. It's not safe to assume it's certain. She told me she will be here tomorrow night. Weiss. Excellent. I'd love to catch up with her.
The barely concealed venom in her voice clearly suggests that, in fact, she'd hate to catch up with her.
Yes, it looks like tomorrow night will be very special. But for now, I bid you adieu.
And she's gone.
She seems kind of French to me, which is why I kind of did it that way.
She's not French.
No, she's not. But she seems very
accent.
high class and snooty.
But high class snooty people can be American. Don't do the French accent.
Yeah.
She's not.
Okay, no, I wasn't trying to do the French accent. I was just trying to be like, high class.
Oh, when she says adieu, she says it in a very French way, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Adieu. Alright, let's go. Oh yeah, that's me. Is there some sort of story between Eiling and Weiss that I should be aware of?
You could say that. High Regent Sturbridge once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Weiss. Blood hunt is where, they say this vampire deserves death. We're gonna kill him.
Like final death?
Yeah, final death.
Wow. Why?
I've heard 5 different versions of the story, and all of them seem plausible. Catherine's relationship with this city is odd, to say the least, but hush for now. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation, and the appearance of Thomas Arturo gives him a perfect way out.
Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Okay, again, spoiler alert for anyone who has not yet seen our playthrough of, Connie, which is Colors of New York. Thomas Arturo.
He's the big bad villain.
Bad. He's the one that was revealed to be the one that was the mastermind behind it all. He's the one who got Sophie killed and also has Panhard bloodbound to him and also is orchestrating literally everything, including Layla's conception and Layla's ascendance to being a higher vampire status thing. Like, it's fucking crazy how powerful this guy is.
Mr. Arturo? Ah, Al Asmai. Keep up the good work, huh? Of course. Thomas Arturo, an architect by trade. He's a herald, a member of Prince Panhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. Oh yeah, herald, that's a new term. So basically, they are like a high-class vampire who basically, another term for them here, like it says, will often trade their wisdom for favors or political gain. While harpy originated as an insult, some have taken the term back and wear it as a badge of pride. After all, who doesn't need a friend who has dirt on everyone? So he's basically, yeah.
Yeah, well, no shit. He has dirt on literally everyone, including Panhard.
But Julia doesn't know any of this.
Yeah. Take care on your way home. Take care on your way to your haven, Mr. Arturo.
Ah, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief.
should stand in their way that might force them to properly acknowledge my existence.
You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't.
I've been meaning to ask you this for a while now, but never had the opportunity to. Or never had the opportunity. You really hate Arturo's guts, don't you?
He carefully measures his diplomatic response. I have no strong feelings about Thomas Arturo whatsoever.
Considering you're always listing
You could cut off in the
positives-
front. You cut off in the beginning.
I don't know what's wrong with my mic today. I think it's just kind of here. Okay. Yeah, well, considering you're always listing positives about every local Camarilla representative under the moon, you might as well have called him a cunt.
Language, whelp. And, as for Arturo, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks for more than a week. A group of kindred emerges from the art hole, rushing towards the street. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough, doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Slight Arab accent for this character. Primogen. If you were rude enough to stare, you'd quickly notice the cloth serves mostly to cover up her horrifying scars.
Is she Nosferatu? Kadir.
I told you she's Arab.
Yeah,
What clan is most
Kadir.
Arab-like?
Banu Hakim.
Slightly, yeah, that's what she is. And you're gonna find that out later, anyways. Slightly Arab
Kadir.
accent.
Yeah, Kadir. Oh, and young Julia.
I'm doing my best not to stare, because Samira is one of the few... Remember Samira? You almost like...
Oh, this is her.
This is her.
Yeah.
Because Samira is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here. Did the prince require the Clan of the Hunts counsel in some matter? And Clan of the Hunts, that is the nickname for the Banu Hakim, also known as Assamites. And they're called Clan of the Hunts because their clan bane is they tend to feed and consume, diablerize other vampires. Some say that Cain, the first vampire ever, created them to keep other
Banu
vampires... No. Cain created them to keep other vampires in check.
Ah,
That's a legend.
interesting. Yeah. Yes, wait, I forgot how to do an Arab accent. How do you do it? I forgot.
Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard...
Yes, I advised her that no matter how hard she tries, she should know to expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night.
Not a strong Arab accent, slightly.
Okay.
Kind of like Catherine.
Cool.
She's the Banu Hakim Primogen. Just like the La Sombra, their clan was independent from the Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen, for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Banu Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld, and every transgression punished. They don't have much say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she was understanding. Those are beautiful clothes.
Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you came up with. How are you, Julia? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? I'm not even invited. They haven't even invited me to the party tomorrow. Sorry to hear that. I trust you're pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Oh, Julia. You won't achieve anything if you don't keep reaching out. Kadir, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes?
I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process.
I can only wish you good luck then. Good night, Julia. Good night, Kadir. Good night.
Have a safe trip. The art hole has to be almost empty by now.
You like her, don't you?
Stop with your class clown act, whelp. It only serves to reveal deep insecurities.
I love their dynamic. It is very much like a brother and sister, as you said. It's really cute. I do the same thing to a close friend of mine who I consider to be like an older brother. Wow, that's harsh.
It's factual. Were I as harsh as you claim?
She did tell us both to call her Samira, but you're still keeping your distance with that primogen shit.
Watch your profanity and don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect the way you will eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant.
I ship this. I'm on the same boat as you, Julia. I promise.
Am I interrupting something? Good folks? Hold up. No. This guy, hold up. I remember his voice. Am I interrupting something? Am I interrupting something, good folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Gauthier's composure is unshaken. His response comes swift and unfazed. Not at all, Mr. Van der Weyden. Heading back to your office? You know me, my dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now that's curious. Even though Carter Van der Weyden is a primogen as well, Malkavian to be precise, I don't hear Gauthier address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up, provided I can. But just in case, I already apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythms, tempo, and intonation patterns of his voice are so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half exactly like Barack Obama, just like his appearance. It all feels so fake. He's old money, of course. Comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally settled in the New York region. Runs a wildly successful law office, rubs elbows with elites of both kindred and kin varieties alike. He seems perfect in every way, and that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav and must be blighted with some affliction, but whatever it is, he doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding.
Oh, wait, so this guy's Malkavian, but like he acts like a normal person, but like too normal? That's kind of creepy?
Not quite. She did say he sounds half like JFK and half like Barack Obama, his intonation.
Yeah. He's trying to, like, copy them, basically.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The celebrations
I do the same thing if I was Malkavian. Sorry.
Kind of, yeah. Some Malkavian embrace it, some of them can hide it. The celebrations are planned to last all week. Surely you will find the time. I pray I will, my good man. I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes, I think they're all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carter drives away in his limousine, Gauthier shakes his head. You wanted to hear about which member of the New York City's Camarilla I dislike the most? Oh, welcome back, Vixen.
Hey, Vixen. Yes?
He shoots me a knowing glance and smirks. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues, and I deeply respect every single one of them.
Sure you do. You wouldn't want to blurt out something that could lock you out of Mr. Van der Weyden's legal services, would you, now Askisser?
I do expect to find myself in need of a good defense attorney when my broken, incompetent, and foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge.
Rude. Do you still need me here? I still need to go swing by St. Patrick's tonight.
Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out.
The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh?
And there she is. Helen Panhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her, the de facto ruler of New York City, and a self-professed patron of the arts.
Qadir, a penny for your thoughts.
More cold.
Qadir, penny for your thoughts.
You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate, my prince. Mr. Van der Weyden is decidedly not. I suspect he'll be too busy to join the festivities all the week through.
Excellent.
She turns to me.
Miss Solnsky, weren't you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight?
There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in the city.
Catherine is here? Now that's a welcome surprise. But what does it have to do with you, Miss Solnsky?
I
took care of her paperwork. Yeah, the first one. She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her rival, Prince Panhard. It's all been taken care of. Kadir has already been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute. Where exactly did you meet her?
In a fast food restaurant, my prince.
I see.
Helen rubs her eyes.
Catherine and her love for proletarian amusement. I suppose it will be a source of amusing anecdotes this week.
If we want to avoid these situations in the future, it might be a good time to discuss offering Miss Sawinski an office of her own.
We'll get it eventually. There are more pressing matters at hand. The festivities start tomorrow and there's still so much to be done.
Oh.
Will you make sure the art hole is secured before leaving?
Certainly, my prince. Have a good night.
Good night, Father. Good night, Miss Sawinski. We'll talk about your work soon. Don't worry. Good night, of course, Prince Panhard.
A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Qadir until the car disappears around the corner.
More pressing matters, huh? A penny for your thoughts, Sheriff?
I'm certain an image of a keeper of the Elysium, stuck in a fast food restaurant, will linger in Prince Panhard's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago.
I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now.
And I stand by my words. Rome wasn't built in a day, Julia.
As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that the Ivory Tower is so hellbent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process.
We've all had to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal.
Whatever. You need a hand closing up the Elysium?
I'll manage. It's getting late. Better run. Some shadow in Chicago is probably impatient to get a copy of the reports you've given me. You've pleased one master. Now it's time to please the other.
Here's the thing about working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own.
Not knowing how to reply, Qadir shrugs. I wave to him goodbye and head for the subway. Actually, you should narrate this one.
How close are we to finishing for the night? Just asking because...
After this.
Cool.
After this,
Sounds
and there's one
good.
smaller scene, and then we're done.
Sounds good. I will trust in your best judgment. When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral... Sorry. When I
Catherine.
reach St.
Catherine.
Patrick, I used to say cathedral before I knew how to say the word properly.
I feel you.
When I reach St. Patrick's Cathedral, I am greeted by a voice that grates on me like teeth on tinfoil.
Well, well, well. The prodigal daughter returns.
It's the return of Benoit!
Mm-hmm.
The guy whose name we got wrong for like a long time. Anyways.
Yep.
Oh my god. No. This is the one thing I didn't want to happen.
Julia, please, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Uh-huh. It's Father Leonard.
Leonard.
Where's Father Leonard?
His clergy duties kept him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes.
That's the second thing he apologized for.
He just wants his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige him. Why won't you?
For the last time, I am not a part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement.
I know you see it that way. The Knight clan's tendency to stick close to the Catholic Church is their greatest virtue, but they still consider this relationship purely instrumental. This is why we need kindred like you, to bring the spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gifts. The closer they'd get to the light, the greater their shadows would become.
Again with his insufferable sermonizing. Benoit Segal here is a local nutjob and an ex-art artist, a degenerate who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance.
Benoit is a Toreador.
Yep.
Another word for them is degenerates, because the Toreador's bane, their clan bane, is if they're in a place and they see beautiful works of art or anything that's beautiful, they will kind of go crazy. Like they'll lose track of everything beside them, and it's like they'll go into a feeling of pleasure, orgasm.
Like they'll be mesmerized, right? They'll just
mesmerized or even insane. Yeah.
Yeah, like they are what's it called? Succumb to it, basically.
Yep. Basically.
Yeah. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his life to studying Nautism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. What's Nautism?
Nautism is a religion that worships Cain, the original vampire.
Oh,
it's
I
the
see.
beliefs and the studies related to studying Cain.
I see. As luck would have it, his neophyte's zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such. Somewhat.
So just like the Banu Hakim, they tend to be Muslims. La Sombra tend to be Catholic.
Yeah, like it doesn't, like once you're a vampire, it doesn't really matter what you are. But yeah.
No. La Sombra, where they come from like places where Catholicism. La Sombra, historically, La Sombra tended to be Catholic, historically. Banu Hakim tended to be Muslim. And that's another reason La Sombra and Banu Hakim often don't quite get along, historically.
You know what? Actually, like, based on the stories of vampires in those regions, that kind of fits. Because, like, I don't actually know if there's any Arab stories about, like, a mauling or something like that, or a cannibalizing sort of thing, but I can assume there is. And then for the Catholic stories, like we have the Van Helsing movie and stuff like that, a lot of those like depictions of vampires usually represent them not having like a shadow, a reflection, and stuff like that, right? So that's why, exactly, the Sombra fits for that. That's really cool, actually. I like how the world is kind of situated on the lore that we currently have in our actual world.
Yep.
Anyways, he immediately pictured me as some sort of a force for change within the Camarilla, and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me until. Sorry, I'm gonna reread this all again because I completely screwed up. He immediately pictured me as some sort of a force for change within the Camarilla and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me, apparently until I become a nun.
Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvation right within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows.
Christ. Once he starts, he just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger.
Kind of rude to change the subject, you know?
I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about. You know, like any guide on etiquette says you should.
Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not, and it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley.
I do not assume, I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Yeezus era Kanye and start acting like Yeezus is King era Kanye.
Jesus is king. Jesus is king.
Jesus is King era Kanye. Sorry, Yeezus era Kanye and start acting like Jesus King era Kanye. Coincidence?
I've never had a Yeezus era. Do people really call it that?
Here's how it's gonna work. Tell me what you know, and I will tell you what they say. Keep in mind, I didn't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. This is after her demise, right?
All of it.
Yeah, cool. He winces a bit at me, saying hell, but lets it go.
Sure, I figure you would have prodded that wound long ago if you knew, but what do you care, anyway?
Better to let you drone on about your tormented past than let you carry on with your good missionary shtick. Professional courtesy. Once a journalist...
Curiosity.
Sorry. Professional curiosity. Once a journalist, always a journalist. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I was reading them. My bad. He scratches his head, then exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle.
Fine, then I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met sometime after World War II. I left France right Before the Nazis went around the... Maginot Line. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brother die during the flu epidemic in '43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment in my works caught her eye. She became my patron, allowed my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred...
By the way, I don't think it was Maginot. I honestly could not read that word as well, so just whatever.
It's whatever. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interests started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor, mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way her social circle does. And that she couldn't forgive. Instead of being a fun novelty, I became just another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant, and then stopped seeing me altogether. I've had my share of meltdowns because of this. I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take an interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry, and then discard you like a broken toy.
For the first time since I've known him, Tegal registers to me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I feel relatable? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he strategically is trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar, or maybe he's just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself.
It is only God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead.
There's the Benoit Segal I know. Almost had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city?
Her path was a road to perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of the city, wanted to make it her ultimate artwork. She was always the vain one.
And of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance?
Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at.
Everybody says you've been acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. And you've got motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head.
You really have the devil in your heart, Julia. Always testing me.
Just asking what everyone's thinking.
Are they? Now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in this city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer.
Killer, huh? Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hands over his forehead and collects himself before responding.
Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Here's a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't have come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even that servant play toy of her went missing. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. You know who she's talking about, servant play toy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here and she's not, and it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God, telling me to re-examine all the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I had renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching His greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful, because she was a sign that got me here. And, if God wills it, maybe one day, you'll look at her the same way, Julia.
Well, no. When it circles back to this preachery tone, it's time to intervene.
Preachy.
Sorry. Whenever he circles back to this preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quote.
Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You were saying people talk about me. I was curious if...
Oh, look who's finally here. Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes into...
Leonard.
Fuck, I keep saying it's Leonard.
It's Leonard. I literally have a friend... In America, I literally have a friend. His name is Leonard.
Yeah, but like Leonardo, you know? Like
it's not Leonardo. It's not Leonardo. It's Leonard.
It's not Leonardo. It's Leonardo.
It's
like
but
Leonardo
here
da Vinci.
It's Father Leonard. Father Leonard.
All right.
Trust me.
Fine. But Leonard would not have a O in it. Leonard would just have a L-E.
No, it's still pronounced that way. I know this because I literally have a good friend. His literal name is Leonard.
Like this? Okay, fine.
It's spelled like that, exactly like that.
All right. I'm just saying Leonard would have also been a name. But
Leonard, if he was actually Italian, the name is, I believe, of Italian
descent,
or origin. If he was an actual Italian in living in Italy, then it would be his name would be Leonardo, and it would be pronounced that way. But in America, it's Leonard.
Fine. Stalling for time worked. Father Leonard rushes into in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arm. I'm assuming it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard.
Christ be praised. Julia, yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe.
Amen.
You cut out during the prayer completely.
Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night? Isn't it taking a toll on you?
No need to worry. These days, I sleep a few hours a day, short naps take care of the rest, and there's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went for each other's throats. Good. I was getting worried. Oh, who do you take me for, Father?
He takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about a pedophile in a Catholic church.
About pedophilia.
Sorry. He takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. He's just too kind to say it out loud.
Ouch. Hear what I have to deal with, Father? But don't worry, we'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint. For now, I'd settle for an adult in the room.
Let's see. 7 years older, that's what you're here for. Passive aggressive. That's what you're here for. Isn't that what you're here for?
I've been patient with that role, but by now, you kids should be moving out, not leaving crayon marks on the walls, and throwing food around anytime Daddy's not looking. So let's just focus on our grown-up duties, shall we? Julia? Here.
He was carrying with him, and I passed in the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it is common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the Sombre's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired and as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone.
Oh yeah, they can't use any electronics, especially anything that's touchscreen, because of their
That sucks.
Hmm.
This is where the Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destinations in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but the most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they are like a mortal camarilla, better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul when I
John
attempted
Paul
to
the
uncover.
First. John
Sorry.
Paul the First.
Remember what happened to John Paul I when he attempted to uncover the workings of the Institute of the Works of Religion? Death after 33 days of papacy, rumors of the CIA and Masonic
Masonic.
involvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For a Catholic priest, he's all right. He'd probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know that's got to be something wrong. I know there's got to be something wrong with him, some selfish motivation maybe, and I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass.
By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing.
Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have.
Not a problem. A priest at Saint Stanislaus Costa.
Costa.
A priest at Saint Stanislaus Costa is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again, front rows. Your father is looking better and better.
Makes you feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you'll excuse me, the sunrise is almost here.
Yes, be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time you won't be so lucky. All right?
Sure. Just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. I guess it's time to call it a night.
And this is the last
I'm
one.
home. Finally, you doing all right? Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figured it's finally time for me to become more of a night owl. We've talked about making our schedules sync better. Watch your vitamin D. I'd kill to have your skin. Would be a shame to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. Should have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's my top secret stuff. MKU Ultra level. Jeffrey Epstein's current whereabouts level. I'd have to kill you if I told you. I have a secret weapon too. Fair. My kind also has a secret anti-aging weapon, after all. But hey, you don't care about that. Psh, what would that be? Adrenochrome?
Adrenochrome.
Adrenochrome? What is that?
I'm not exactly sure. It sounds like adrenaline and chrome together.
Okay, cool. Thanks for explaining that. Anyways, close. Spirit cooking. Just so we're clear, you're shitting me, right? Of course I'm shitting you. We just drink blood. Nothing too satanic about that. Funny, because whenever I see your chest, I'm surprised there's no cross-shaped burn mark there. Well, since you mention it, Never mind. I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need? Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know. They'd be insane not to put you on the short list. Believe it or not, but most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane? Because that's how crazy they'd have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I guess. I would say so. Fuck them then. It's a big bunch of posh dicks. They hate you because they ain't you, but they'll see. Jesus, how do you do that?
You do it.
I'm sorry. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to it without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. You remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want, and you can sense what I feel too, if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called that a big load of bullshit. Said the girl who talks to ghosts, but watch this, Agent Scully. Sorry. So the girl who talks to ghosts. Watch this, Agent Scully. I sensed you feeling down and realized that you really need to end this night.
I realize what you really need to end this night.
Shit. Okay, let me try that again. Said the girl who talks to ghosts. Watch this, Agent Scully. I sensed you feeling down, and I realized what you really need to end this night.
She points to one of her drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of
ketamine? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons, we're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding ding ding. Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing. Thanks to our spiritual connection.
No. Silence.
Oh, just silence.
Mm-hmm.
Silence. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go, prepared specifically to uplift one Julia Sowonsky. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. I give up. Come here, let me have a taste of you.
Maybe this one time, the high won't end. Alright.
Okay, so that, like, her girlfriend has now become her ghoul, right?
Kind of. Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Is this where you want to end it, or
Yeah.
is there something else? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, so now we have Now we have basically played out the intro, which you basically described to me yesterday during our endings, thing for Connie for Courtesy of New York, and I'm excited to see where this goes because I like the character so far. It seems really fun. I really hope Dakota doesn't die.
What do you think of Julia and Dakota?
They're cute together, man. Like, it's a cute relationship. Yeah.
And
what?
And what do you think of Arturo again?
Arturo is a crazy bitch. Because I mean, Okay, wait, hold up. Okay. I don't know how it's gonna go, and you can't judge me for thinking this now because I don't know shit about this game. But I'm very excited to see how their dynamics are gonna work. I hope Dakota doesn't die in the crossfire somehow. And I hope that you know what? I don't know what to think of Arturo right now because I know last time he was basically someone who was like he said that he lost interest in the world, right?
Yep.
I don't know if this is gonna be what our character is gonna end up becoming. I don't want her to, but we'll see how ruthless she can really be, because I feel like that's kind of at play here as well. So I want to kind of keep her humanity in check while also, you know, survival and keeping her. I think if it comes down to it, and I'm pretty sure it will in a game like this or in any visual novel, the most important thing is Dakota, a piece of herself, basically, in a way. So I think, like, when it comes down to it, to choose between anything and Dakota, she'd probably always choose Dakota. And that's how I think I'm going to play her for now, unless I have a reason to feel betrayed or something, for now. But,
okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see how it's going to go. I'm very interested in her and Kadir's dynamic because it's so funny. Yeah, I like this game so far. Is this a very short game, or is this like similar to the same length
as Code Reason New York? So if
cool.
So if we stream for like 3 hours, whenever we stream,
yeah.
we should be able to finish it by next week.
Holy, okay. And then we can jump onto another game where this time you'll be the guinea pig. Ha ha ha.
Danganronpa?
Well, I will give you a choice because I want if we're gonna play it.
Danganronpa.
Why? You don't even know what Zero's Escape. Okay, fine.
Zero's Escape? I know all of those.
You do?
Yeah. 999.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you played it.
Virtue's Last Reward, Zero Escape, the Nonary games. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Zero Time Dilemma? Okay. Yep. Alright, fine. In that case, everyone else who's listening should probably play those games because the Zero Escape games are freaking phenomenal. They're so good, they're so fun.
They're on 3DS, they're on Switch,
they're
even,
on PC
and they're
now.
Also on PC, they're on Steam.
They're on
a bunch of platforms, depending on which
I
platform
have them. I played them on my friends' devices, but then I got my own Steam copy just because I love it so much. Same thing with Danganronpa. But yeah, we'll continue on maybe with either Danganronpa or AI Insomnium as I suggested, but we'll discuss it, me and Revan, and also suggestion box, have to figure that out and fix that fine. So you guys can send suggestions and let us know. Yeah. Until next time, thank you again for joining us and watching this VOD.
Until next time.
See you again on the Hollow Tesseract.
Good night and good luck.